Good morning. I want to ask you a question that will set us up for the next 3 mornings of daily encouragement. I want to ask you, are you seeing your life clearly? Do you have a healthy perspective of what you spent your time on yesterday, today, and what you're going to do tomorrow? I'm going to read you a scripture that's going to help us with that. In Colossians 3, verse 1 to 4, it says, "If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory." So Paul calls us to set our minds on heavenly things and not on earthly things, which we all know is pretty tough. I'm sure you will remember in the Gospels, in Matthew, when Jesus was talking about the fact that he was going to die. And Peter said, no, Jesus, that can't happen to you. And what did Jesus say to him? He said, "Get behind me, Satan, you are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on things of man." So you will notice, when we set our minds on the things of man, they're usually quite self-preserving. We love to hold on to our lives. And when we allow God to give us a heavenly perspective, we begin to see our lives very differently. We can receive messages daily from the media, from people around us, about what is important and what we should be focusing on. I remember when Vincent resigned from his job as an accountant to go into the ministry, his one colleague said, "Are you crazy? You'll never be able to feed a family. You'll never be able to educate your children." And I remember that being like an assault on his perspective of what he had chosen to give his life to, and how he had to choose to have a heavenly perspective in that decision. For myself, I've regularly had to fight for heavenly perspective, even with regards to where we live. Like, I'll read you James 4, verse 13 to 14. It says, "Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money. Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." Now, we are sold through Hollywood and movies what your life should look like. A nice house, a nice family, nice friends, weekends away, and as little suffering as possible. And when we take on that worldly perspective, anything that threatens that will bring us discontent, fear, and turmoil. And I've had to go before the Lord and know that it also says in Scripture that God has determined the place where you should live. And until he calls us elsewhere, this is where he wants us. And so the Lord has helped me to know, actually, if I look at it, if we'd been called as missionaries to China, would I spend a lot of my time worrying about the government policies that are going to affect the comfort of my life? I wouldn't, because I would have already died to comfort by moving to a totally different country, the same as what Steve and Sarah have done, and Lacedia and Crystal. They've died to the comforts and the familiarity of their home, and they've gone on a mission to another country. And so when I'm agreeing with the heavenly perspective that this life is so short, if I seek comfort, wealth, just an overabundance of just the good things, self-preservation in this life, it's only for 70 to 80 years, tops. I need to set my mind on what pleases God and not on what pleases man, not on what only pleases me. I need to set my mind on things of heaven and not of earth. And then it changes my perspective of everything. The next 2 mornings, I'll be sharing on how having a heavenly perspective can help you to endure difficult times, and how having a heavenly perspective can help you to not waste your life on earth. Looking forward to seeing you.